Hello and welcome to my podcast. I am Lindsay, also known as Knitwhim, and let's get started. First off, I just like to acknowledge, yes, I know it has been a month since my last podcast. What can you do? There's nothing I can do about that. I'm sorry. A lot has happened, so I have a few FOs to show you. First up is Sojourner by Carolina Eckerdall. I called it Stars on my Ravelry page because that's just simpler. Last time I was telling you about these, I had started this and wildly messed it up. So I did successfully complete not one, but 3. They're on my tree, so I just pulled the one off. I really love this pattern. I think it's very clever. It's a lot of fun to do if you do it correctly. And I think they look pretty cool on the tree. And actually I did 2 of them like this, and this is sport weight yarn. And I did one with worsted weight, and it's about this much bigger. Like it comes out to here. And ads are super cute, so I really like these. Next up, Mini Sweater Ornaments by Emily5446. And I did this with some random acrylic soft yarn from Joann's. Super cute. The sock weight yarn, it's not really self-striping, but it is variegated, and depending on what you knit, it can get kind of stripy. This pattern is really cool. You start at the collar, you cast on, you work in the round, you put the stitches for the sleeves on spare yarn, and you keep going until you get to the bottom and bind off, and then you pick up the sleeves and knit them. So it's pretty much exactly like knitting a real sweater, only you don't have to worry about it fitting. So, super cute. I only did one of these, and it took me about maybe 4 hours or more. So I really want to make more in the future, but ugh. Next up, the Thorpe hat by Kirsten Kapur. This hat I made last minute. I was going to do, for Flux Schedule for Nerd Wars, I was going to do the mitts that I had finished one, and I just needed to do the second one, but I decided I couldn't stand them anymore and I frogged them. So I did this instead, super quick. This is knit with my hand spun, which is super exciting. This is, when I got my wheel, it came with a lot of yarn, including a pound of this domestic white wool. And I spun up the whole pound. That was the first thing I spun, and this was the first skein of that pound. So it came out thick and thin and bulky, and like it's really stiff like armor. And of course I dyed it with Kool-Aid. So the pattern has you do a crochet edging. I think that's the back. The pattern has you do a crochet edging, which I didn't do because I didn't really have any yarn that matched color-wise, and so I just left that part off. I really like this pattern. I definitely want to make it again with actually nice yarn and not first hand spin. Like, obviously it looks decent, and from a distance it doesn't look horrible, but it feels really bad. And it's not because the fiber was scratchy. The fiber was nice, but then I overspun it or something. I don't know what I did exactly, but ugh. Bulletproof hat. So finished that. The next one that I finished was the Chelsea Market hat. This is my second time knitting this pattern. You can see there's the one stylish little cable. This is my second time knitting this pattern, and I showed this to you last month. I had finished it, but it was a beanie, and now it is relatively slouchy. This is my preferred amount of slouchiness for slouchy hat. And I had been worried about blocking it because I didn't wash my swatch, and I have had a lot of bad experiences in the past where I blocked my slouchy hats and they became too big for me. So for this pattern, what I did and what I think made the difference was I took some crochet thread and weaved it through the brim of the hat and cinched it tight while blocking, and so I really like how it turned out, and I think it definitely would have stretched too much if I hadn't done that. So, and this is knit with Malabrigo Rios, which, oh my god, someday when I'm rich and famous, I'm going to knit a sweater out of this yarn because it's so delicious. I love it. So that's the Chelsea Market hat, take 2, which is also part of Nerd Wars. Last month, round 2 of Nerd Wars, I'm kicking myself. I did not dwarf the nebula, and the only thing I needed to do to dwarf the nebula was to do a Giving Geeks challenge, which is a donation. It would have been really easy. I had my credit card out, but it was also Thanksgiving, and my sister was here, and some other stuff happened. One of my flex schedule, I didn't specify that I did both projects during the month, and so people were questioning, did you really finish this? We need pictures from before the month started. The start date on your project page says. It's just a game, people. It doesn't need to be. I don't know. It annoyed me a little bit. It was my fault. The rules specifically say that if you've started them in the month, that you should say that. Otherwise, they'll assume that you started it beforehand, and then they need proof of how much you did before. It's this whole. I really can't stand legalistic people, and the whole the game is definitely very legalistic. Like, they nitpick about the weirdest things, but you're allowed to knit a single crochet square as a project. That's okay, but they want to make sure definitely that you totally started a project at the beginning of the month for flex schedule, or else they need a picture. I don't know. That's just my little rant. So I didn't dwarf the nebula last month, and this month I'm not even trying. My only goals for this is the last round 3 of Nerd Wars. My only goal is to finish my flex schedule, which I did 2 days ago, and to do my dissertation. That's it. I don't care about anything else. Although I really, really, really want to knit the Seedling Dreams hat for myself, if I have time. So anyway, speaking of flex schedule, I finished the flex schedule a couple days ago, but I haven't blocked it yet. I actually was getting ready to block it, and I was like, you know what? I should do a podcast and show it first. Sorry, shaking, before I block it. So this is the Damask Shawl by Kitman Figueroa. I probably said that wrong. And it's huge. I did it in a DK weight yarn. It's the Barocco Vintage DK, so it's a cotton it's an acrylic wool blend, although it does kind of feel like a cotton. And it's huge. I did the large size. Here it is in all of its glory. And it does look a bit like a limp bat wings or something because it's not blocked. It'll look so much nicer when it's blocked, and I'll show it to you again. But I'm super excited. This stitch marker does not mark where I was last month. It actually marks where I was at the beginning of December for Nerd Wars purposes. So this is the bind off up here. So I did this much since December 1st, and actually I was farther back here last time I showed you on the podcast. So I went all the way up there before even December started. So I'm happy. I've been working on this since July, so it's nice to finally have it finished. And I think it's going to be nice and warm. It's nice to have a wide variety of scarves. Like, a lot of the scarves I knit over the summer were smaller neck scarves that you really couldn't use to cover your whole shoulders, and so it's nice to also have it. I like those, and I wear those more often because you can just throw them on and no matter what the temperature is. But it's also nice to have one that you can cuddle up in. So add that to my rotation. I actually prefer these to the neck scarves, but they're such a time commitment to knit. It's just I could knit 3 neck scarves and the time it takes to knit one of these. So that's that. And then my last finished object is spinning finished object, and this is my favorite spinning to date. Shoot, I forgot to look that up. I don't remember exactly how many yards it was. I want to say it was almost, but not quite 400 yards, and it's fingering-ish weight out of 4 ounces of 100% organic Polworth. And I haven't spun a whole lot of different things, but Polworth is definitely my favorite right now. It's so awesome. It's so squishy. and amazing, and just, do you see this? I love this. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. And it's been so long since I spun it that I actually almost don't even remember what I did. And this is from Gail's Art. She is a super amazing genius, and I love her to death, and you should definitely go buy some of her stuff. I checked before I started recording, and I didn't see any Polworth in her Etsy store right now, but she's always adding stuff. So, and I'm sure that her merino is just as nice, but Polworth. The colorway for this is Sherlock. It was dyed specifically for a spin-along done by the Completely Twisted and Arbitrary spinning group on Ravelry. They have these 3-month-long spin-alongs where they pick a featured artist, and they have that artist do a custom color dye, and everyone buys that, and they all spin the same colorway of fiber, but the results are so different. It's so amazing to just go on there, and they talk about what they're planning on doing before they start spinning, and then they do progress pictures, and you just see, like, it's the same colorway, it's the same fiber, but you get such wildly different results depending on how they decide to spin it. Someone decided to spin it, split it in half down the middle, and just spin and do a 2-ply, and someone decided to do a 3-ply, and some people take the fiber and separate all the colors out and just spin those colors amongst themselves, like completely bypassing the order that it was dyed by the dyer, and so much good stuff happens. So it's so soft. I'm hoping to knit myself another neck scarf with it. Little lacy triangle shawl. So yeah, that's really good. Not shown, I was knitting, I don't remember if you remember, I was knitting a pair of fingerless mitts. It was a design that my sister had done. They were brown and green striped all the way up. I was having issues with the way the bind off hit the palm of my hand. It was driving me crazy, and then I could not for the life of me cast on for the second mitt. I tried so hard. I accidentally cast on using size 9 needles instead of size 1s, which I'm not sure how that happens, but I did it. I twisted when joining in the round twice, which, come on, I've been knitting for a really long time. Twisting and joining in the round? Really? Newbie mistake. I kept doing that. I cast on the number of stitches required, and then it would be like super huge, and I'm like, why are you so big? I give up. I frogged it. It was knitting curse. So I frogged that. That's not happening anymore. Works in progress. Actually, I only have one knitting thing on the needles right now, and as I say that, I realize it's not even knitting. It is crochet. And it is the Something Pretty blanket by Millie Makes. This is my dissertation project for Nerd Wars, and so my only goal for the rest of this month is to finish it by the end of December. So here is an example. The blanket is made up of squares like this, and what I'm doing is I'm just doing all of the flowers in different colors, and then I will go back and put the border on afterwards. So my goal is to get 50 of these, and right now they all look like this. I have 36 of these right now, so I need a few more to get 50, and then I need to do the borders. And then once I do the borders, I have to seam it together. So I did 6 of these at work yesterday. So if I do 6 of them at work tonight, and tonight is my last day of work before I go on leave. I'm gonna go on leave for 2 weeks. So I can do 6 more of these tonight, and then polish up the flowers this weekend and start doing the borders, and I hope to have finished doing all of the borders by the end of next week, and then maybe start seaming by the end of my first week of leave. But I don't know. My husband has a whole lot of things that he wants us to do together as a couple over leave, so I don't exactly know how much time I'm going to have for this. So I'll report back. So that's my work in progress, and that's the only thing I'm doing fiber-wise right now. I have some spinning that I'm not really touching so much because of all the other stuff I'm doing, And I'm hoping maybe if I think that I'm definitely going to finish the crochet on time, I want to cast on this. This is Malabrio Sock, and I don't know what the colorway it is called, but it's beautiful shades of dark greens and browns and blues, and I love it. And it is going to be some kind of shawl of some sort, and I've been looking forward to knitting this forever, especially since Mando Bug just did a gorgeous cowl out of the same yarn in a beautiful browns and bronze colors, and it is so pretty. So I cannot wait to cast this on. It's going to be awesome. I'm thinking about changing up my format a little bit and being more structured and doing less talking about random stuff. And so part of the experiment is I'm actually doing show notes this time. They are going to be on my blog, which is arcanewhim.blogspot.com, or I'm going to put a link on YouTube to my blog in case you can't find me. Really, if you Google Arcane Whim, I'm the first thing that comes up. So there's that, and I'm thinking about changing my blog name. I've called myself Knitwhim Podcast because Knitwhim is my name on Ravelry, and I think it's kind of witty, and it describes who I am as a knitter. I knit what I feel like knitting on a whim. I'm whimsical. I'm wonderful and whimsical. But I'm branching out craft-wise. I'm doing crochet. I'm doing spinning. I have a sewing machine that I haven't really shown you a lot of what I'm working on with that, but I probably will. And the other thing that's taking up my time, which is why I haven't cast on the wonderful sock yarn scarf yet, is, pardon me, I started cross stitching, and it's not very challenging from a process point of view, but it's pretty time consuming, and it combines two of my favorite things: lots and lots of colors and cute designs. So like, as long as I can change colors frequently and I have this whole box of colored floss, it makes me really happy and I enjoy it. And this is a winter, I'm going to forget what it's called. It's the Kawaii Winter Sampler from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and links will follow. And it's really adorable. It's 25 days, so it's like a little advent calendar. And I'm enjoying it. It's awesome. I'm doing it all as one piece. So it's, this square is the last square in the row. So there's 5 squares per row, and then it goes down until 25. So I'm going to do it all as one piece and then frame it to hang on the wall. And this is, okay, it's kind of chatty. My husband's grandmother does cross stitch, and she's the one who got me started with it. And she gave us 2 framed pieces to like start our collection off. So I haven't hung this one up yet because I'm lazy, but isn't that so cute? This is the kind of cross stitch that I'm really interested in. It's the sampler style where you're really just doing, the ABCs and the numbers and like little tiny things, and they're small. And she has a bunch of these for each holiday. So I visited her in July, and she had like 7 or 8 different little pieces that were 4th of July themed, and some of them were bigger. Like the other one that she gave us was Halloween themed. I want to make so many Halloween ones. Halloween is my favorite holiday. Like this. She also did this one. And so a lot of her 4th of July ones were this size because they were like the tall Uncle Sam person or whatever. And she also liked 4th of July teddy bears. So I'm really excited about this. This is fun for me. It's just something different. It's a lot easier than knitting from a technique way. You only have the one thing that you're having to do, and you're not having to read a whole lot of instructions, and it's pretty simple, but you do have to count the tiny little squares. So it's like, oh, where do I start? Especially like the first stitch. It's like you have to count 15 stitches over and 10 stitches down, and and if you miscount, then your whole pattern is off and you have to rip it out, just like knitting. But so that's fun. So I have huge plans for following her tradition and making cross stitch of my own to frame and hang for the holidays. So this is my first Christmas one, and I'm hoping to do a bunch of small 4th of July ones because this isn't going to be finished in time for Christmas, but I could finish 4th of July ones, hopefully, in time for July. And then in July, do Christmas ones. So that's my other stuff. So I'd like to be able to talk about all of my crafts on my podcast, and so I'm thinking about changing my name from Knitwhim to something else. I don't know. Mandobug, her name on Ravelry is Mandobug, and so her podcast is Mandobug Crafts. I could just call my podcast Knitwhim Crafts and not change it, but I kind of have a split personality disorder of sorts, and I like changing my name on the internet a lot. For instance, my nickname on my blog is Theo, and I can't really explain concisely why that is, but just know that it made sense at one point in my life. So one of my other nicknames on the internet is Dragon Kitty, and that's a description of a tattoo I want to get. So I was thinking maybe Dragon Crafts would be cool. I'm also really into science fiction, and I've been doing a lot of science fiction-y stuff, so I was thinking maybe Craftbot. I haven't Googled. Maybe if I Google these things, they're already taken. But I don't know. Should I change my name? Will I lose followers? No, I won't lose followers. No one's watching me. Will I get new people? If my name is more exciting, will people watch me more because I sound cooler? I don't know. Does that sound self-absorbed, that I care? Everyone cares. I can't lie. Everyone cares. So I'm thinking about it. Let me know what you think. And I can't promise anything about my video blogging schedule for the rest of December because, as I said, my husband and I are having a staycation in our house, and we're probably going to oh shoot, I should show this to you real quick. My husband and I have a lot of really intense plans for how we're going to relax over Christmas break. And a lot of those plans involve playing Pokemon, watching a lot of television, and studying a lot of Arabic and Japanese because we're language nerds, and what we like to do for fun is study languages. He bought me the entire set of Harry Potter in Japanese for my birthday, and so far I've only read the first page because it's been like 5 years since I've done anything in Japanese, and I don't remember a whole lot. So those things will take up a lot of time, and also my family has this tradition of reading books out loud to each other over Christmas, and this book is our number one favorite, most traditional book to read during Christmas. I think it's pretty much tied with Harry Potter for the number of times read out loud as a family. I think we read, well, they've read it without me since then, but I think we read Harry Potter out loud like 3 times as a family when I was still living in the house, and we've read this at least twice during Christmas. And then also this series, The Belgrade by David Eddings, has like 12 books in it. So I know one time we read it out loud and it took us a whole year, and we just kept going after Christmas. So I love this book. This is the first 3 books combined into one book. And it's a huge family tradition. I'm going to read it out loud to my husband. I hope he likes it. I really do. Last year he read the Jurassic Park books out loud to me because I'd never actually read the books, and we read The Hobbit out loud to each other before the first Hobbit movie came out. So those are things that we agree on that we like, and we are also reading some science fiction books to ourselves that we both like. So I'm hoping that he will like this, and that he will. It's great because I don't care if he's playing Pokemon or he can play Civ 5 or whatever. I'll read it to him while he's gaming. And then hopefully he'll take pity on me and read it to me. When he reads books, he likes to read it in this really awesome, believable Russian accent. So I kind of want to hear it in Russian accent. Anyway, so with all that said and done, I can't promise that I will blog at all for the rest of December because we have a lot of stuff planned. A lot of doing nothing planned, which I'm really looking forward to. And please let me know what you think about changing my name. Dragon Crafts, Craftbot, I don't know, Knitwhim Crafts, Knitwhim Pod. Maybe it doesn't matter if my name matches what I'm doing on my podcast. Maybe Knitwhim is enough because I'm a knitter who talks about random stuff on a whim. I don't know. What do you think? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.